It's the 14th of August, and this is your News Bite brought to you by eNCA.com. I'm Marcel Gordon, and in your news today, Suleiman Carrim is in hot water with the Madlanga Commission again. Local politics in England ends up in the garbage bin, and Banyana keep their World Cup hopes alive. The Madlanga Commission will lay criminal charges against Northwest businessman Suleiman Carrim. He has once again not showed up for the hearings, again citing ill health. Now, during a previous spell of ill health, when he also couldn't appear, there were claims that he was seen out and about in Cape Town. Evidence leader Adila Hassim said that Carrim had breached the Commission's Act, and it was the last straw for the chair, Mbuyiseli Madlanga.
Let me outright say the Commission is going to set the criminal process in motion. The Commission will direct the relevant functionary, and as you anticipated it, Mr. Premhid, that functionary will be Dr. Vuguza sitting across there, who is the Commission Secretary, and for her to lay a criminal charge, not to make a recommendation, to lay a criminal charge against Mr. Carrim. If the Commission were not to do that, it would itself not be taking its processes seriously. This is something that the Commission just has to do. Otherwise, witnesses will choose to come or not to come testify before it willy-nilly. And we cannot and we will not have that.
Carrim's lawyer, Camille Primet, did put up a fight, trying to keep his client from being forced to see a doctor chosen by the Madlanga Commission. He tried to argue that the Commission should rather consider the medical report provided by Carrim's doctor.
The conflation that I'm respectfully contending for is...
May I just say, I'm not conflating anything. We don't have to have only one reason. The reason may one be the Commission wants to be sure that there isn't a basis for not accepting what Mr. Carrim's doctor says.
Yeah.
That's one. And two, I'm then saying, the doctor appears even on factual issues to have so associated with Mr. Carrim's case, let me call it that is additional to the first reason as to why the Commission would want to satisfy itself. So the original reason stays, it remains. So what you are addressing does not suddenly become the reason.
No.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Could I be cheeky?
And sorry. and also I'm not altogether sure that I agree with you with this staggered approach on how one deals with expert evidence. I don't agree with you. You may upfront just say, I want to establish whether this should not be questioned by, at the outset, having an independent assessment. So your staggered approach, I just don't agree with.
eNCA's Yusuf Abramji says Carrim now faces serious consequences for failing to comply with the subpoena.
We know that Suleiman Carrim has been trying to avoid coming to the Commission for many months. Even before his first hearing, he went to the High Court, he lodged an application that was refused. Then he came to the Commission, he then allegedly fell ill, and since then he's refused to come to the Commission and also cooperate with the Commission. So what will now happen is the Secretary of the Commission will go to the police and formally lay a charge. The police will then probably refer the matter to the National Prosecuting Authority. They will then investigate the matter and then they will decide whether they should prosecute him or not. We know that the defense for Suleiman Carrim have been very clear. He is in a facility in Cape Town, where he's purportedly receiving this medical attention. They refuse to comply with a so-called voluntary medical assessment, and that is what got the commissioners really angry. And one doesn't blame them, because clearly he's been avoiding this commission.
Meanwhile, suspended MP Fadiel Adams's case has been transferred to the Durban Regional Court. He made a brief appearance before the Pinetown Magistrates Court, where the matter was postponed to September. Adams faces charges of fraud and defeating the ends of justice related to his alleged interference in investigations into the murder of ANC Youth League SG Sindiso Magaka. In other news now, by the end of this year, nearly 20 million South Africans could be relying on SASSA grants. It's a staggering number, and one that plays itself out at SASSA offices month in and month out, with many complaining about a system which sows confusion. Social Development Minister Dina Pule says she has a plan to try and curb the chaos. It includes the hiring of temporary staff, setting up kiosks at libraries for first-time applicants, and trying to get people to understand that they must stick to the date set for their payment of their specific grant category. eNCA's Asha Ismail was with the minister as she visited SASSA offices in Melville and Khayelitsha.
Social Development Minister Dina Pule has been touring SASSA offices nationwide to see firsthand what's causing the delays. In Khayelitsha, she found long, winding queues.
Your long time, Mama. From last week here, I'm apply everything is done. But after that, they say doctor is not giving my medical here. Now they change my date.
In Melville, people complained of being told to return on different dates.
My children didn't go to school today. It's not only today, for the past 5 months as well. Once a month we come here, because whenever we come for the supposed appointment, we are given another date for another appointment, because the system is forever offline.
Some even spent the night outside this Melville office to ensure they get in.
I get yesterday 3:30 in the morning. I sat here till 10 to 4. The lady go in 10 to 4. I'm the person after, and then they close the doors. And then I'm asleep here till just like today.
After speaking to staff and people in the queues, Pule said she now better understands what must be done to improve service.
On the numbers of people that came for the first time and the people who are coming to review, we definitely need more staff. But it also says to me, there's too much need and demand in the country for the services of SASSA.
She says plans are underway to hire contract staff and ease the burden.
Both the numbers of the elderly for pensions, the numbers for child grant, the numbers for the assistant, what do they call it, the SRD, the 370, the numbers are huge, out there. So yes, we have 19 million, but by the end of this year, we may have more than 20 million.
Water woes continue for Joburg residents, and citizens in the well-known suburb of Melville took to the streets on Friday to voice their frustrations with persistent water cuts. In Melville and surrounding high-lying suburbs, supply instability and recurring outages linked to the Commando system and Hursthill reservoir network remain a major concern.
But something is going on, because we cannot be held hostage for an entire week without water when some kind of maintenance must be done.
They are not even addressed when we are facing this type of issues. And for our ward, where it's specifically a university area, it's a huge challenge, because we wake up, we run, we have to bath, we have to go to attend classes. Instead, even the work class also is the same thing. They have to do their agenda, they have to bath, they have to clean their homes and go to work. But this other situation is persisting in our area. Looks like in this Joburg, we are owing who we don't know, because also we are taxpayers.
This year, we haven't had water for more than 50 days in Western. And at one stage, I just got into my car and I left Joburg. And Joburg is my favorite city, because it's impossible. It's impossible. We pay our rates and taxes.
Electricity tariff increases are putting pressure on South African households. The Green Connection NGO warns that for many people, these increases have made electricity unaffordable. The organisation is calling for changes to South Africa's electricity pricing policy. Here's the NGO's advocacy lead, Lisa Makaula.
Now people are having to find themselves to choose between buying bread or, topping up electricity. And that is why we have been calling, on the minister to actually review the electricity pricing policy. And in our consultation papers, we do raise the fact that, quite a lot of South Africans are currently unemployed, and the rates basically for Eskom, as they are also different from those rates, for those that are buying directly from the municipalities. And we have been very vocal about this in terms of the policy itself being amended so that it does take into consideration the cost and also how it's impacting on vulnerable communities and people.
Meanwhile, the chair of Eskom, Mteto Nyati, has shrugged off a recent rebuke by the presidency. It's to do with the unbundling of the transmission company, which is currently in the works. Nyati recently said there was a risk if assets were moved too quickly and in a way that weakened Eskom's financials and rattled investors. And the presidency didn't take kindly to those comments, saying it was unfortunate that Nyati was creating an impression that a process was underway that Eskom was not integrally involved in. Nyati says he doesn't mind the firm words from the presidency.
The key point here is that the president has created a structure that is helping all of us to be able to work together. And that is what is the most important part for me. We have to save our country. We have to make sure that we never go back to the situation that we found ourselves in the past. And the structure that the president has created has made it possible for all of us to work together. And I'm excited about what we are going to be able to achieve together.
Meanwhile, Electricity Minister Kgosientsho Ramakgopa has again defended the restructuring of Eskom. The National Union of Mine Workers recently said workers had not been properly consulted, and the plan would result in higher electricity prices and the loss of jobs.
Competition is in the public interest. I mean, I said you are going to de-risk yourself from the perils of monopoly that at times gets to be complacent. So essentially you are building, if you like, shock absorbers, you are building guardrails to protect yourself against concentration. And then also I did make the point what the unbundling on the generation side means greater investments, R&D, and in theory can result into price reduction. So the issue of unbundling is not the issue. The question is the pace and scale. And the president is determined this is how we're going to unfold it. The technical team will continue to feed into that process. It's unfolding.
On to political news from the UK. Nigel Farage has won the Clacton by-election, which was boycotted by major Westminster parties. The Reform UK leader got just over 22,000 votes, while Count Binface came second with close to 9,500. Yes, you heard that candidate's name correctly. Count Binface, a man who dresses as a rubbish bin. It made a farce of the by-election, which was triggered by Farage resigning as the area's Member of Parliament, only to run again in the resulting race. He says it's to allow Clacton voters to put two fingers up to the establishment, he says, after scrutiny over his financial affairs. The other major UK political parties decided not to take part in the race and rather grabbed some popcorn to watch Farage have to campaign against a series of joke and fringe candidates. From London, here's eNCA's Ollie Barrett.
Nigel Farage will surely claim that as a victory over what he describes as an establishment that he insists is trying to bring him down and see off his Reform UK party. But if Count Binface takes a decent chunk of the vote, Farage's critics will say it's all been a major embarrassment, including the fact he's had to spend his summer campaigning against a bin. Count Binface is a character created by a comedian. His policies include nationalising Adele. Yes, Adele, the singer. Also on the ballot, far-right activists and former actor Lawrence Fox, and 3 candidates from the monster-raving Looney Party. If and when Nigel Farage is re-elected as an MP, a parliamentary inquiry into him over claims of undeclared gifts and funding is likely to rapidly reopen after being suspended when he resigned. His Reform UK party have been slipping in polling in recent months, and he hopes a win will help him rediscover political momentum. His critics hope this bizarre by-election will have damaged his standing in the eyes of voters in Clacton and beyond.
In other news we're keeping an eye on, the High Court in Pretoria has ordered the reinstatement of 7 NSFAS board members. It's also set aside the appointment of Hlengani Mathebula as administrator. The court found that Minister Buti Manyamela's decision to dissolve the board was irrational. Over 280 people have died and about 500 are still missing following Monday's 7.4 magnitude earthquake in Colombia. Authorities there say more than 3,500 people were injured. And at least 6 people have died and 5 others wounded in eastern Japan as record rainfall hit the Chiba prefecture near Tokyo. The rains cut power to more than 20,000 households, while 7,000 travelers were stranded overnight at Tokyo's Narita airport. Onto the world of sports now, and Banyana revived their hopes of qualifying for next year's Women's World Cup with a determined performance that saw them beat Nigeria 2-1 on Thursday night. Goalkeeper Kaylin Swart made several crucial saves in Casablanca, earning the Player of the Match award. The victory now securing South Africa a place in the Inter-Confederation playoffs.
I think that was a collective effort. I think when we fight and we fight together, this is what happens. And I think, the soccer gods was with us today. But I'm just glad that I could help the team in any way possible. I still don't know how I made those saves, but I think all the hard work that I've put in, I think all the disappointments from the tournament, I think now we can rest a little and hopefully go back and now in the playoffs. And yes, this is not the way we wanted to go to the World Cup, but if this is the step that we have to take, so be it. But we're going to continue to work, and hopefully in the next couple of rounds we can still display the same football and unity that we showed today.
And on to rugby. Coach Johan Ackerman has named some new recruits in his Bulls team for the tour match against New Zealand at Loftus this weekend. Former Sharks fly-off Kerwin Bosch will make his Bulls debut alongside Takir Abrahams in a backline which also includes Willie Leroux. The Springbok veteran is set to face the All Blacks for the 20th time in his career. Another former Bok, Marcel Coetzee, will skipper the Bulls. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. on Saturday. And that's how we wrap today's News Bite. For developments in these and more, do keep an eye on eNCA.com and DSTV channel 403.